YouTube, what's going on, guys? Thank you guys for checking out another one of my videos. I didn't catch the consultation on this one, but I wanted to briefly describe what happened. He came in, showed me a picture of like a bald fade with a textured top and some weight on the ridge. Ultimately, he didn't want to go bald on the sides. He wanted some hair on the sides. He didn't want it to be such a drastic fade. And so what we came up with was a number 1 on the sides, pretty much like a shadow fade into that textured top with a little bit of weight on the sides. And we faded out the sideburns in the back. I think that was a better look. It's not like he has to go to work or he's like in a professional field where typically, you know, people will ask for squared sideburns or sideburns and squared back or something like that. Even when that's the case, I tried to get, you know, the whole faded out look just because it grows back nicer. And so that's what we went with. We tapered out the sides, tapered out the back. Number 1, shadow fade, and then the textured top. I think it came out pretty decent, but you guys ultimately can tell me in the comments what you thought about the cut. With that being said, let's get started with this tutorial. YouTube, what's going on, guys? Thank you guys for checking out another video. So like I told you guys in the beginning, it's gonna be a textured top, shadow fade on the sides, like a number 1 on the sides. But we're gonna start off this cut at the top with a profile section, and this is gonna determine the shape of the cut. If you notice, we're gonna go rounded, kind of follow the shape of his head in the crown area, whereas when we go towards the front, we'll kind of do the same thing, going squared a little bit, but we start to go 90 degrees as we go towards the front because I want it to fall or the fringe to be a little bit more layered, which just looks flatter instead of bulky, right? Especially since he's gonna have a messy textured top. Once we've done that, that section is going to determine the length for the rest of the cut. So if you notice, we're taking sections, right? We're taking horizontal sections for me and using that initial profile section as my guide. Now we're going to go ahead around the top of the sides. We're going to go like lift the hair up squared and cut it about finger length, connecting the top to the sides. Now I'm not going all the way down because we're going to debulk that with clippers anyways. So we're going to repeat these steps on the other side here. If you lose tension, like you saw me re-grab the same section, it was because I was losing tension in the hair and I wanted to make sure it was even. So I resectioned that part and just made sure my tension was good all the way through. And what I mean by tension, I mean like how hard you're kind of like pulling the hair up off the scalp. Okay, now we're going to connect the sides to the top here. And really, I'm just focusing on the section that's like the top of the sides, right? Because again, we're just going to do clipper work to debulk, you know, everything below that. All right, and now in the fringe area, because I wanted it to be a little bit lighter, just like we kind of went 90 degrees here in the front when we were cutting, when we were lifting the hair, we're gonna cut the fringe with a razor just so it has a wispier finish, okay, at the ends. Now we'll blow dry it, and you can see the top is done, man. You got some nice texture, nice shape. And now we're just gonna focus here on the sides. So we're gonna start debulking the sides with a number 4 guard. If you notice, I'm leaving a good amount of length here. Like the round of his head is, he has, I would say a really rounded head, because the sides of his head are like, you know, you don't have a lot of room to play with the sides of his head before it starts to round into the top, right? If you notice, when I'm following through with my clippers all the way up, it's leaving the scalp, it's leaving his head, so that means it's starting to round off right here, right? So we are going to leave a lot of weight, a lot of bulk above the round of his head. And that's just going to give him a more squared shape overall. It's also going to allow them to have some texture there on the sides that I think is going to look pretty good when we finish. So once I've debulked with that number 4, a lot of times I will stack guards, number 4, number 3, number 2, but here we went straight to that 1.5 guard, and we're going all the way up, lifting off the scalp, not going above the round of his head. And it does need detail by once you skip these guards, you are gonna have to detail after. If you notice, boom, I jumped up to that number 2 guard. I'm starting to detail that area, make it look a little bit more transition. But if you think about it, he only wants a number 1 on the sides, and we are already down to a 1.5 guard. So once we've done this and we've detailed and completed this section, we can go to that number 1 guard, fade it in, and then focus on how we're going to finish the sideburns of the back. Are we going to taper it out? We're going to line it up. To me, it's a fairly simple haircut. Yeah, and so if you notice, I'm spending a good amount of time just making sure that transition into the bulk, it has some gradients. That's what I'm really focusing on there. All right, so now we are our number 1 guard, and my number 1 guard right now is all the way open, and we'll close it as we go down and get it ready for a taper. All right, now I'm just doing scissor over comb just to kind of refine that bulk area. And since we cut the shape vertically in this area and with vertical sections, doing this scissor over comb, you're really cross-checking your work. All right, so we're going to use some Tomb 45 texturizing powder. We call it pure powder. You can get it at tomb45.com. And the reason why I'm doing this now is because I want to finish my work. I want to do my detailing, like the taper, the lineup. I want to do it into a kind of finished product, right? That way we can really see the haircut come to life. So I'm using my gammers to do this taper, going all the way closed and opening little by little as we go up. And this is when I was kind of testing the clippers. So I think I might be switching to either the seniors or the babeless after this, but I'm not sure. I actually recorded this haircut a while ago. All right, so the taper on that side is done, but I've seen some dark areas, so I'm just touching them up now. And all I did there, guys, if you notice, was I stacked guards. So I started with my number 3, went number 2 right underneath that, and a 1.5 guard right underneath that. I just stacked my guards pretty much. I feel like the lineup made it come to life there. All right, so let's start with the taper here in the back. We're gonna bald him out here at the bottom and go straight to our blade all the way open, no guard. Now we're gonna go close and open it little by little as we go up, focusing on this section, making sure that this looks blended. his hair definitely has some discolorations. Like he has some dark areas and some light areas, and I don't think that's a density thing. I think that's just his hair color. His hair color is very inconsistent, which is cool. It looks dope if you can give him a nice haircut. It looks dope, but it does make creating fades or transitioning from a number one to bulk, it does make it a little bit more challenging, because it could look like you're patching him up, but you're not. You know what I mean? It's just his hair. All right, so I'm finishing off this taper with the half guard, because remember, we're blending into a number one. It doesn't take a lot to fade into a number one. The half guard is really what does, you know, the most. All right, so here I'm kind of refining with trimmers instead of scissor over comb. Let's get it. But once we put the line here, this neck tape is gonna really show that blend. Alright guys, so on this side, just follow along with the color guide on the bottom left corner here, because we got to blend out this side. And once we blend this side, we'll do some finishing touches and you'll see the before and after. Stay tuned. The discoloration, man, in his hair was driving me crazy. So I've been going back and forth with guards like this 1.5, going over the same spot a million times, making sure it's not me. It'd be like that sometimes, guys. Like, but all we can do as barbers is you know, just try to detail and spend time and create illusions that, you know what I'm saying, to make the haircut look as good as you could possibly make it for that individual client. All right, so I'm putting clay in his hair just to kind of refine the texture a bit more. And I decided just to kind of dry cut here, especially in the front, just to give it a little bit more texture. So I was slide cutting, but it was dry. The reason why I did that is because I knew I wasn't going to go through most of the bulk of his hair. I was just going to go through the fringe. So that's why I skipped, you know, wetting the hair and stuff before I'd use that technique. But again, man, like, this is one of those haircuts that'll drive you crazy because of the discoloration. But anyways, we're doing the razor here now. Going ahead and refine the C cup. I'm trying out a tool that I got from someone at a hair show, and the whole razor is you can actually throw away. It's, you know, it's plastic, and instead of replacing, you know, just the blade, you replace the whole razor, which I think is pretty clever. But guys, the cut is coming back to life. Look at this. What a drastic difference. Like, I'm not gonna lie, when I was in the middle of cutting his hair, I'm like, damn, this isn't gonna look that good. But, you know, I was patient, I trusted the process, and I think the before and after came out pretty good. And I tried to solve that discoloration as much as I possibly could while giving him a nice gradient blend, nice shape, and some texture on top. Guys, if you like the cut, let me know in the comments below. Smash the like button. If you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button.